Net als de amandelstaf van Aaron ging bloeien na een nacht in de ark te hebben gelegen. Als de ziel met al haar natuurlijke bronnen, initiatieven, in de dood is, kan God zijn bronnen, Heilige Geest, engelen, hemelse regering, plek krijgen. Hoe in de praktijk? Het kruis moet dagelijks in ons werken. And Jesus called to him the throng with his disciples and said to them, If anyone intends to come after me, let him deny himself, forget, ignore, disown, and lose sight of himself and his own interest, and take up this cross, and joining me as a disciple and siding with me partly, follow with me continually, cleaving steadfastly to me. Therefore, if anyone who acknowledges me before men and confesses me out of a state of oneness with me, I will also acknowledge him before my Father who is in heaven, and I confess that I am abiding in him. But whoever denies and disowns me before men, I also will deny and disown him before my Father who is in heaven. Do not think that I have come to bring peace upon the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword, which is the word of God. I have come to part asunder a man from his father, and a daughter from her mother, and a newly married wife from her mother-in-law. And a man's foes will be they of his own household. He who loves and takes more pleasure in father or mother more than in me is not worthy of me, and he who loves and takes more pleasure in son or daughter more than in me is not worthy of me. And he who does not take up his cross and follow me cleaves steadfastly to me, conforming wholly to my example in living, and if need be in dying also, is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his power, his life, will lose it, the higher life, and whoever loses his lower life on my account will find it, the higher life. He who receives and welcomes and accepts you receives and welcomes and accepts me, and he who receives and welcomes and accepts me receives and welcomes and accepts him who has sent me. He who receives and welcomes and accepts a prophet because he is a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward, and he who receives and welcomes and accepts a righteous man because he is a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. And whoever gives to one of these little ones in rank or influence even a cup of cold water because of he is my disciple, surely I declare to you, he shall not lose his reward. If anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother in the sense of indifference to or relative disregard for them in comparison with his attitude toward God, and likewise his wife and children and brothers and sisters, and even his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not persevere and carry his own cross and come after, follow me, cannot be my disciple. For which of you, wishing to build a farm building, does not first sit down and calculate the cost, to see whether he has sufficient means to finish it? Otherwise, when he has laid the foundation and is unable to complete the building, all who see it will begin to mock and jeer at him. After the dark night, as soon as we don't trust ourselves anymore, crisis of trust in self and obedience to God, we have reached resurrection ground. God is bringing you to a place where he just has to utter a wish and you respond instantly, the spirit of a servant. Then said I, Behold, I come, in the volume of the book it's written of me. I delight to do your will, O my God. Yes, your law is within my heart. God deals with you as with a son, chastening. For the Lord corrects and disciplines everyone whom he loves, and he punishes, even scourges, every son whom he accepts and welcomes to his heart and cherishes. You must submit to and endure correction for discipline. God is dealing with you as with sons, for what son is there whom his father does not thus train and correct and discipline? The Spirit bears witness to that sonship relationship. For the Spirit which you have now received is not a spirit of slavery to put you once more in bondage to fear, but you have received the Spirit of adoption, the Spirit producing sonship, in the bliss of which we cry, Abba, Father, Father. The Spirit himself thus testifies together with our own spirit, assuring us that we are children of God. And if we are his children, then we are his heirs also, heirs of God, and fellow heirs with Christ, sharing his inheritance with him. Only we must share his suffering if we are to share his glory. What was lost, soul features, is given back, but now under discipline, under control, in service. For God is my witness, whom I serve with my whole spirit, rendering priestly and spiritual service in preaching the gospel and telling the good news of his Son, how incessantly I always mention you when at my prayers. For we, Christians, are the true circumcision, who worship God in spirit and by the Spirit of God, and exalt and glory and pride ourselves in Jesus Christ, and put no confidence or dependence on what we are in the flesh, and on the outward privileges and physical advantages and external appearances.